Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to Off-Grid Stoves and More. I'm Scott, and I'm here to make this short for you in order to help you hopefully decide against ordering pellet stove parts on e-commerce sites. The problem that we're having with individuals that are calling us stating that they're having problems are they might not find us in time, or somebody might have a special supposedly on parts out there that might be needed in order to get your stove up and running. But here's the problem. The problem is, unless you really know your stove inside and out, which many of you do now that you've watched 100 of my videos, some of you out there can talk the same terminology, the same lingo, the whole bit with me, and really can diagnose your stove quite well. But unfortunately, there are individuals out there that are just hearing from here or there from, maybe from, no disrespect, from a technician that may not really understand how an Austroflamm works and how each component in the Austroflamm operates. And they might just say, hey, look, the way that it's acting, you just need a new motherboard, okay? And to be honest with you, that is one of the most common mistakes that people that don't really understand what's going on with these stoves are making. And I'm getting to meet a lot of technicians now due to the fact that all of the Austroflamm technicians are long gone since they stopped manufacturing and importing the stoves from, back in 2009. I would probably say that I am one of the oldest technicians for Austroflamm in the country. May or may not be, but I've been doing this, since 1989. And I was literally one of the first stove stores to be introduced to Conrad, who was the gentleman that brought Austroflamm over. And we helped him introduce Austroflamm into Oregon. And all I can say is there's a lot of misinformation going on around here in regards to individuals that really know what's happening with these stoves when they start malfunctioning. If you go to an e-commerce site, here's one of the main problems. There's a lot of crossover parts that, let's just say a combustion fan or a snap disc, that states that from the person that is listing these parts on the internet, they feel as though that a snap disc for one stove may work the same for another stove, but they might not realize that the snap disc opens and closes at different temperatures. And let's talk combustion fans. They might state that it fits a Austroflamm along with 2 or 3 other manufacturers that are listed. But here's the problem. You might end up with a part that needs to be rewired. You might have to drill holes, new mounting holes, and you didn't have the awesome assistance of Off-Grid Stoves and More in order to educate you and help you understand that when you receive this particular part, you're going to have to do a little extra work. Lots of problems. I'm getting a lot of calls from individuals that are saying, hey, look, I just picked up this fan and, I'm not even sure if I wired it properly. Now, here's another issue is if you do rewire a fan or whatever, and you miswire it, you can create a lot of damage to the electronics. You can have surges and you can short things out. So it can actually be a rather costly mistake. So when something states out there on the internet from just whoever is selling, you know, a conglomerate of parts, and they list Austroflamm, Rika, Breckwell, yada, 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 okay, you better beware that there's a good chance that you're going to have to do some extra work to that part in order to get it to operate properly on your stove. That's one of the best scenarios with working with us, is that first off, when you call us or you email us, because that's what I highly recommend, is emailing us, you say that you need a particular part. A lot of the times, you know, unless you're a customer that has ordered a lot of parts and we really realize that you know your stove and you know how it functions and so forth, and if something goes wrong, then you can figure out exactly what you need. Most of you can't figure it out. So when you email us and you say that you need a part, most of the time we'll write you back and say, okay, why do you need this part? And we'll help you troubleshoot in order to make sure that that is the actual part that you need. Because a lot of these other sites out there, they're more than happy to send you any part that you order right on their e-commerce site, and they'll ship it to you, okay? But it's on you now that if you order the wrong part and it happens to be the wrong part, and it, you know, who knows how long it took to get to you. Some of these guys out there, they're pretty snappy. You know, they're as quick as us, or maybe even a little bit quicker, because, you know, they're not installers, and they're really not in the hearth industry. They just sell all kinds of things and sit behind the desk all day. But if you do order the wrong part, you could find that you're going to have a restocking fee, plus you're going to have the return shipping costs to get it back to them. No sympathy on their side for you for ordering, you know, misordering the part. So that is one of the guarantees by ordering from us, is we will help you make sure that you're getting exactly what you need to get your stove up and running as quick as possible. We always help you diagnose your issue, and we will give you the proper part. Now, in the combustion fans, if you were to say, hey, Scott, you know, I need a Austroflamm combustion fan, but you don't tell me that it's a Rika combustion fan, most of the time we are going to ask you, what is the age of your stove? What year is the model? Is it a Rika or is it an Austroflamm? Because they have two different connections on the combustion motors, and you definitely want to end up with the proper connection. Another problem that's going on out there is igniters. Okay, if you haven't seen that, we have a new amazing igniter that we created and had manufactured. Our igniters have a 36-inch lead on them, so that if you receive an igniter, it's going to have a long enough wire that goes all the way around the body and is going to either meet up with your motherboard on your Rika, or it's going to meet up with your wiring block on your Austroflamm. A lot of you out there don't like to mess around with trying to unplug things at the wiring block and so forth. So a lot of you will clip your wires, and then you will like pigtail them together with wire nuts and tape and so forth. It's not necessarily the best scenario. The wiring size is rather significantly larger than the old igniter wires. And if you know anything about electricity, you really don't want to take something that is designed to have a certain gauge of wire and hook it up to a smaller wire, because it can then put resistance on that brand new part, and it can become short-lived. And, you know, if by chance you buy a 3-year warranty igniter from us, and, you know, we really try to educate you guys out there in making sure that when a part's, you know, installed, it's installed right, okay? But we discourage cutting our wires due to the fact that, again, it can affect the life expectancy of it. And our igniters are 100% replaceable. It's not transferable, which means that any part that we're putting a large warranty on, if you sell your stove, that warranty pretty much ends right there. Due to the fact that we want to make sure that we're dealing with the individual that bought the part from us, because if by chance, let's just say that we get a bad batch of igniters, we want you to send us that igniter back when we give you the brand new one, so we can investigate and find out what's going on with that part. If all of a sudden the manufacturer's sleeping on the job and maybe cutting corners or whatever, okay, we need to know this in order to keep our standards of quality high. So if you want to guarantee to get the right part for your stove when you're having issues, to get your stove up and running as quick as possible, email us at offgridstoves@gmail.com, or you can give us a call at 800-348-1021. And I have to keep saying this because there are so many of you that are so kind when you call Julie and I, which that is another situation there that by dealing with us, you're either dealing with me or you're dealing with my better half, Julie. And you're going to be able to depend on that voice on the other side of the phone. With a lot of these companies out there, they're just sitting there on a computer or whatever, and they're just shipping out, you know, as the orders come in. So thank you for all of your kind and wonderful words, the support that you show for us. You know, we work hard at keeping you guys warm and keeping Mama happy out there by not charging, you know, sometimes putting in hours and days with some of you in order to get some of these Austroflamm issues resolved. You know, we help you and you help us by your kindness and your support. And we just want to say thank you very much. And one last thing, to all of you military and first responders out there that are dealing with the craziness in this world that's going on, especially here in Texas. Texas is becoming a state to where there's a lot of insecurities of our borders and so forth. And it seems like that, you know, you out there that are working in the military and in the law enforcement and even the, you know, EMTs and so forth, the nurses and doctors, you guys rock. You guys stay safe out there. Peace.